Um, it is me, Danyell Carmelita, your favorite tarot reader and astrologer. And the vibe in the sky for this week is fully packed, especially when it comes to Venus in the sign Leo. It's in the fiery, a lot of drama, everyone look at me energy. Mercury finally clears all of that retrograde shadow phase, just all of the retrograde energy finally ends today. I am filming this live as of Monday, August 25th. And Saturn retrograde in Pisces starts next Monday. So get ready for that next week. And it'll give us a spiritual reality check. But this week we are talking about Venus and Leo. And it's going to make a pattern, which is a bold pattern. We'll talk about that and what that energy is for us. But it's funneling some transformation, very intense, obsessive energy in the name of love. Okay. We'll break that down. You'll understand what it all means for you in the collective. And yeah, stay tuned.
3, 2, 1.
I love you.
Okay, so the overall theme of this week, first of all, let me show you some dates actually. These are just the August dates that I have here, but I will read you the dates if they're not all up here. Mercury in Leo retrograde post shadow phase ends today. Venus enters Leo today. At the same time, Venus will trine Saturn, which is retrograding in Aries on the 26th, but we can all say this is just the same day. Venus is also going to trine Neptune, which is sitting very close to Saturn in Aries. Venus is at the same time going to oppose Uranus in Pluto, which is retrograding in Aquarius. Venus also is going to sextile Uranus. Did I say Pluto, Uranus? I hope Neptune, Uranus. I hope I did. I felt like I said Uranus already. Okay, I'm going to redo it. Okay, today Venus is going to trine Saturn. Tomorrow, which is going to be the same energy that we feel today, Venus is going to trine Neptune, which is retrograding in Aries. Venus is going to oppose Pluto, which is retrograding in Aquarius. And at the same time, this is not written down here, but Venus will be sextile Uranus in Gemini. And that's going to make a pattern that we will be discussing next week. Okay. We have September, and I have to do my September video for all of us. So get ready for that. That will actually be the very next video. Hopefully, I'll do that tomorrow. But September 1st, and that is my sister-in-law's birthday. But also, it is Labor Day, right? Or Memorial Day. I get them mixed up, but it's a holiday. And Saturn is retrograding in Pisces. And then also, Mercury will enter Virgo, and then Mercury will square Uranus. We'll get into that at T. We'll get into that. But overall, this week, we are talking about transition because we're dealing with Pluto and integration. Venus entering Leo. Again, it lights us up. It gets us all fired up. There's beauty, there's creativity, there's expression and bravery in the name of love, right? And then Mercury is finishing that post shadow phase retrograde. So I almost witnessed a car accident the other day. It was very bold the way the driver was driving, but now that finishes. And that means we can finally leave behind the confusion that we were living in with communication and contracts and all the conflicts, and plans on moving forward with clarity as of today. And then next week, Saturn retrograding in Pisces. This is a very grounded in spirituality and getting our dreams grounded and having a sense of reality when it comes to our dreams and our emotions and our sensitivity, and a lot of creative work, but there's some testing of boundaries with that as well. Just a lot of responsibility in a very fluid space. That is happening next week. But for us this week, we are dealing with this pattern. Let me show you actually. And here it is. Bam. Okay. Venus, I took out all the other planets, but Venus is in the sign Leo. If you see, once it enters Leo, it is immediately starting to oppose Pluto, and then it's sextile Uranus and Gemini. And immediately when it enters Leo, it is going to trine Saturn, and Saturn is conjunct Neptune. These planets are retrograding. Pluto's retrograding. Also, um, what did I say was going to retrograde? Saturn, and it's going to enter Pisces is what happened. Saturn will enter Pisces next week. So anyway, that is what we have in this bowl. I'm going to explain to you, but first I want to tell you about Venus and what does that mean when it enters Leo. I need to adjust my seating. Hold on. always, every week. I have a beautiful carpet. Okay, it is animal print, and it's a rug. It's not a carpet, and it's on top of the flooring in the space here. And I put, like, the sliding thing for you to put your wheels on, and it's not the best. I'm gonna have to repurchase like something that's a little bit thicker so I can roll. It's very frustrating, but I'm not getting rid of my rug. So every time I film, I have an issue with the tugging of the wheels. But anyway, but I do want to talk about first Mercury in Leo and post shadow phase. There's clarity with a lot of drama and conflict. If you had that, now you can be very confident with your expression. Driving, you can feel a little bit safe. Mercury is working now fully. It's fully using the right tools to drive and be safe. Less fire out in the street. Creative projects moving forward that can be pursued, and confidence with your expression. Tech eases, technology gets better. No more glitches. You can find the emails. You can find your car keys. Travel eases up across the board as well. Now that we are ending with this is a time to tie up any loose ends. If you're making an announcement or launching anything, this is great. Trust your voice, create creativity over perfection, and celebrate your wins. Now, Venus is in the sign Leo, and that is really what this video is about. And Venus in Leo, Venus is the planet of aesthetics and beauty. It's what we naturally attract. It also deals with finances. It deals with the parties. In Leo, is dealing with celebrities. Also, Venus is the planet that deals with partnership and friendships. So, Venus, also too, like when you're going to a spa and getting comfortable and enjoying all the luxuries in life and self-care, that is Venus as well. Harmony and balance too. And law, justice. Okay, so now it's in Leo, right? And Leo loves the drama. Leo's all about celebrities. Now, Taylor Swift with this Venus in Leo energy, I feel like there's going to be, I know she's coming out with an album, but every time Venus is in Leo, there is some stirrings up of not just Taylor Swift, but Beyonce too. But there's some stirrings up of them. Beyonce has a Mars in Leo, so I have to see exactly. I never looked at Taylor Swift's chart, but the album is orange, very Leo energy color. But yeah. So we'll see how that develops with her. I'm sure she'll thrive. She always thrives for Venus and Leo, and she also thrives when Venus is retrograding. So Venus is a very important planet for her. I need to look at her chart anyway. But Venus and Leo on another note, because also too, I'm back on Taylor. Also too, that pretty in love, pretty summer in love, pretty some the day I came pretty. I don't know the name of it, and I'm reading the books because my daughter is so into these shows. But the summer I turned pretty. Now Taylor is all involved in that, and that's very Venus and Leo too. So we'll see how this goes. Anyway, but Venus entering Leo alone without Taylor Swift, okay? Just for the collective. It is a lot of drama in love. You are talking about relationships. They become a little bit more dramatic, maybe even playful. A lot of love, a lot of attention. Look at me. I want some passion. It's a fire sign, so it is a lot of spark and a lot of energy. It's very extroverted energy. Public loves of affection display. I was going to put affection and display together. But like you can get proposals, public PDA, yeah, announcements on social media. The love is on stage kind of energy. Okay. Also, two romantic grand gestures, romantic confessions, celebrities on spotlight. You could be naturally attracted to a lot of celebrities and watching them be on stage. Yeah, so loyalty and devotion, it is a fixed sign. So now love doesn't want to change, it wants to stay the same. Style and beauty. I did a Venus in Leo video. Check that out. It's really good. And I talked about big hair, bold makeup, and all that would be very Venus and Leo. A lot of orange, a lot of yellows. Yeah, any color of the sunset is really big when Venus is in Leo. Very glamorous and very bold. A lot of gold aesthetic as well. Self-expression through styles. A lot of people will be bold while Venus is in Leo. Far as finances, buying a lot of luxuries. Please save your coin and be ready for that. But spending on experiences that make you feel special, or spending on experiences that deal with watching someone on stage, like a concert or yeah, something like that. Okay. Let me see what else. Luxury, even with self care and harmony, or spending a lot of money and getting the best, and being treated like a royal queen or king that you are, in order to get some balance and harmony. A lot of creative passion, a lot of creative breakthroughs. People will feel more brave with their talents and their desires. Leo is very charismatic and it's very charming, right? So there's charm when you are pursuing things or which you naturally attract, and magnetic networking, a desire for adoration, wanting to be seen, wanting to be celebrated, wanting to be appreciated. Yeah, a lot of center stage energy. Also, too, Leo rules the heart. So anything dealing with the heart, you are naturally attracted to, or you are pulling at the heartstrings of others. Okay, it's a great time to step in the spotlight, speak from the heart, dress the part of the Leo. Okay, look like the star you are. Balance ego with warmth. You know, we all have our own Venus signs, and if you look at all my Venus videos, and I have a lot of tools and discussions. I go really deep on Venus in my private community, so go ahead and join that. Also, too, your Venus sign, I give you a lot of advice and tips on how to maintain and look the best with your Venus sign. But you always want to look at your rising. Also, your Mars is how you dress when you're pursuing something too. It's very interesting how that plays a part, because you see that with a lot of celebrities when they're pursuing money, they dress like their Mars rather than their Venus. Yeah. Anyway, but Venus is very important. It's in Leo, and while it's in Leo, I am saying that we can even appreciate like bigger hair and dressing around a hair, or dressing very bold, or dressing like we are the king and queens that we are, really expressing ourselves. Okay. Now, let's talk about this bowl effect, which I had earlier, because once Venus enters Leo, and those were just the common themes of Venus and Leo, but once Venus enters Leo, it has this bowl, and this bowl. So, what you see here, I think I've explained this. Where's my I'm showing all these things. Okay, so this bowl here is Venus is in Leo, and Pluto is in Aquarius, and it's retrograding, and it's basically like the holder of the bowl. It's holding both of the ends of the bowl, and here is the bowl. Can you see the pattern of the bowl here? We have Uranus and Gemini. We have this conjunction of Neptune and Saturn. We'll call them one. Okay, they are one. They're giving us the same energy, and this is the energy that is dealing with grounded spirituality. There's accountability, there's discipline, there's confusion, there's sacrifice, there's responsibility, there's an awakening, there's authority, there huge spirituality aspect, a lot of oneness and being serious when oneness. Okay, so they're one energy right now, and I did a whole video on this. So if you want more details on what this looks like, because they're going to go in Pisces and come back in Aries, go ahead and check out that video. So we're just going to say they are one, and so now these two are carrying it. Okay. So the bowl effect, everything in between these two are being filtered between Venus and Pluto. Pluto is the planet of transformation. It's very intense. It's obsessed. There's healing. When you say transformation, it says, let's get down into the closet. Okay. Get all the skeletons out the closet. It likes to be very deep. It doesn't like anything superficial. So there is going to be intensity anytime you're feeling this. A lot of psychological healing, a lot of healing. Also, too, there's secrets, things that are very taboo, because these are skeletons in a closet, and now it's being lifted, or maybe it's being more aware. Venus is opposing that. We'll get into that a little bit later, but this is the beginning of the bowl, and this is the end, because this one started, it was already here, and then here comes Venus joining a party. So it may start with a transformation, and it may end with something that's dealing with harmony and balance, or a relationship of some sort. Okay. Now, Pluto, if it's the beginning, right, it's themes of power, it's themes of transformation, collective upheaval, because you're dealing with Aquarius, and karmic truth. Now, Venus and Leo, that end point, is more of the pressure cooker, and it is collective themes of love, money, creativity, and it's holding that energy of Leo with Leo, and Leo is dealing with the celebrities and stage and boldness and that ego as well. Okay, because it's in a bowl, the energy isn't scattered. It's very concentrated, and it's very focused, and it's very direct. So that means you as a collective, me individually, there is a big part of our in the sky that is focused on our chart. There's a big part, the sky, the vibe in the sky is focusing on a big part of our chart, one part of our chart. Okay. Now, and I will try to break this down, but if it's focusing on the left side, we'll start there. Yes. If we're focusing on the left side, then you're talking about that it's dealing with your inner self, your independence, yourself, your inner drive. Okay. And the keywords that if the bowl is over here is about self expression, it's about autonomy, it's about individuality, it's being alone, but not really lonely. Okay. Now, if it's focused on the right side, which is the Western hemisphere, this is the Eastern, this is the Western. And if it's dealing with that, even that fourth house, all the way to that 10th house, over on this side, maybe even a ninth house, we'll say fourth to ninth, all over here, then you are dealing with others, you're dealing with relationships, you're dealing with collaboration. Okay. So from 9 to 4, this is all others. This is about compromising. This is about projection. This is about partnership. Okay. Now, if the bowl is sitting on the northern hemisphere, which is really down here, okay, then you're talking about the inner world, you're talking about privacy, you're talking about your home, your family, your roots, your personal life, a lot of self-reflection, a lot of inner work. When it's sitting on top here, the southern hemisphere, then it is the outer world. It is very visible, and it's about your career, your public image, being recognized, networking, society, legacy, a lot of influence here. Okay, so remember, it's the self versus the collective or others. It's the private life versus the public life. Okay. So the bowl is going to be focused. So if we're looking at a Libra rising, then you're really focused on others. Okay. I'll actually do everyone right now. So we can know. Okay. And then again, Scorpios, others, you're focused on others, a little bit of yourself. And then still we're dealing a little bit of others, but now we are blending this bowl a little bit about ourselves, could be dealing with some siblings as well. And then, but you see, it starts to focus not just on others, but a little bit of the private life as well, for my Sagittarius risings. And then for our Capricorn risings, then now you are dealing with that northern and you're dealing with that private. And there is definitely something private about that eighth house too, as well. Okay. The private life. And very much the same for our Aquarius, but there's something dealing with partnerships as well. And then now when that's our Aquarius risings, and for our Pisces risings, then there is an element of private and self, very much private, because you're dealing with this 12th house energy and spirituality. And then the Aries, now we're dealing with some others. We're dealing with this public life and we're dealing with the aspect of others, but there is a very strong component of a private life here as well. Okay. Let me see. Taurus risings, your reputation, how you come across others, and there's some privacy at the same time with this bowl. The bowl is focusing on that. Gemini risings, we are dealing with ninth house. Ninth house is dealing with others. Ninth house is dealing with the public. And 11th house is dealing with a lot of networks and friends. So you have some private concerns here, but there's a huge issue on others and self. I know it's like, what? This is the house of self. This is the house of community. This is the house of networks. This is the house of also, it could be philosophy, but also others and traveling. So, but there's one strong little aspect, an aspect of self. So there is one element that is quite different of self, but all the other elements are dealing with others as well. And then cancers, you are starting really to focus on the public life and others. And then let me see, for and finances for you too. Now, far as Leo risings, again, we have this strong sense of self, but it's self with others in a big, big way. And all of my Virgo risings, because it is your time, it is Virgo season, we are dealing with a huge public life for sure. And at the same time, there is a private matter happening for you guys. And then we go right back to my Libras. So that is what we have. I hope that helped you guys out. But I'm going to talk about what this means. And I hope you guys saw all that. Okay. Yes, let me know if you guys have any questions too. Now, I want to talk about the two things here, the two holders of this bowl, because everything else is in between and they're like the entrance level to it. And Venus opposing Pluto, the two carriers, right? You're talking about relationships are going to be very intense. There could be a financial power shift or transitions in finances. There could be a lot of drama because Leo loves the drama, and it could be very cultural, or there could be some drama that's very out of the box with that Aquarius that's very futuristic, maybe even dealing with AI, and there's intensity there. There's truth in love. People may realize they've been giving away their power in relationships, and there could be breakups and makeups, and it could be very loud. Creative rebirths, a collective reflection, magnetic pulls, could be something that's very karmic encounter, soulmate vibes, or shadow entanglements. This is very taboo. This is very dark. This is the shadow side. And there is a huge shift happening with your balance and harmony as well. Okay. What else do we have? The stage and the crowd. This is the stage. This is the people, the Aquarius energy. Okay. One theme is me versus we. Individuals want an applause, but Pluto forces you to be accountable for the collective. You're focusing on yourself and love of self, and you're not focusing on fighting for the people. Shadow work in love. There could be something dealing with jealousy, your pride, your control, or vanity, and it could be exposed, and it's going to cause some healing. Empowerment through creativity, the highest expression. You're turning love into art and beauty, and you're deciding to use this as a tool to gain some power. You're deciding to use this as a tool for transformation, but there is this balance that needs to happen within the harmony. Now, Venus itself, and when it's trining Saturn retrograding in Aries and Neptune retrograding in Aries, you're talking about money and time and love and beauty. Now there's real proof. There's tangible results. It's very satisfied when it comes to relationships. There's quality time. It's feeling responsible. There's commitment in a relationship. It's seen in a long run. There's solid working partnerships, business partnerships as well. And you're blending beauty with integrity. This is relationships being tested, and you see that it's passing a test. There's loyalty and long term potential here. There's commitment with this across the board, right? So people may return and redefine some boundaries or make some promises, and they really stand their ground. Aries is the planet of self. Leo is the planet of loving and not compassion, just the heart on their sleeves for others. It's very generous, Leo. So there could be some generosity when it comes to self as well. Artistic gains and through discipline is what you have with the Saturn. And now Venus added on to that, you get a lot of sensitivity, and it's very sweet. It's very fairy tale kind of energy, but it's very gentle. It's very loving. There's spirituality. There's divine energy. Also, there's compassion added to this. So, compassion with you being on stage, compassion with you being bold, compassion with you being brave. Leo loves to be brave, okay? Feelings of melted ecstasy, devotions for the beloved, romantic love, love of dreaming, beautiful music, fairy tale, and romance. All that happens. Far as like spirituality, you can download information. The intuition is happening now. Both of these planets are retrograding, so it's not working the best that it should. So the boundaries are not there, and maybe the intuition is repeating itself. Maybe God has to talk to you more than once. Maybe the whispers are not whispering, and so there has to be a yell. Or maybe you're not being very serious, and so things have to be repeated. Just watch out for idealizing some partnerships and over romanticizing when you have this bowl happening, because things could be very hypersensitive as well. But there's poetry, there's compassion, all that's happening. Now, Venus is sextiling Uranus, and this is very positive if you use it. So it's talking about being different, right? Being creative in a way that you've never seen before, thinking outside of the box, communicating also too, because Uranus is Gemini, and Gemini loves to communicate. So relationship breakthroughs, rebirth of love, friendships, feeling romantic, but there's a spark, there's electricity, moving fast too, really thinking and processing information really fast. And at the same time, there's harmony and balance, and you're being very bold with that. Yeah, but a great sense of style, but it's very electric and out of the box, but you're being praised. People are loving it if you really step out of the box. Gemini, all the air signs are very social. Uranus is very social. This is using social media. This is socializing, putting out an email, putting out what is it when you send out an email blast, sending out an email blast, having fun with it, especially if you're a Libra rising because it's in the ninth house. That's about the ninth house is publishing. Yeah, but expect some surprises when it comes to love if you put the work. Expect some surprises when it comes to law. I didn't really bring out law and harmony when it comes to this Venus energy and this bull aspect. There could be some intense law arguments too happening, and maybe something that you're going to court for. There's a huge shift in justice as well. Refreshing, liberating, and a spark of excitement in relationships. Finances could really work if you're dealing with anything dealing with technology, or if it's something that you have to communicate with finances, because Venus is about the money. Okay. Now, again, I talked about this. Let me see what else I have. Power struggles in relationship, jealousy when you're dealing with this. Something could resurface that's coming from the past because it is retrograding and you thought you left that in the dark. That could be a possibility. Also, too, this is money, and this is dealing with AI, like cryptocurrency, or something dealing with any type of technology when it comes to money. Okay, that could be. Oh, also, too, this is shared income, shared resources. So, if it was an inheritance, or if it was like a loan, or if it was taxes, this also could be some conflict there as well. Okay. Ultimate, this aspect purges toxic dynamics and forces you to have a rebirth and value love and value your aesthetics, value your harmony, your peace, and loyalty and your self worth. Okay. Now, overall, you are talking about Act One. Okay. Because we're going to create a scene. Leo loves the drama, theater, darling. Okay. So, scene one. Take you got this trine energy, right? I'm trying to put it all together. So Saturn is trining Neptune, and so this is going to be commitment and love and devotion, and you're very practical, and then Neptune sitting there, and now you are romantic and creative and divine, and God and spirituality is also added to this divine, grounded, practical situation. Now Uranus is surprise, something's here and you are taking it in. You're open to the surprise element. You have this unexpected twist, and there's sudden encounters and are breakthroughs, but you are enjoying it. You're like, you know what, this works. And then the final act here is the closer of Pluto, and Pluto is like, okay, well, now what's the truth? What is the healing? What is the lesson here? Okay. What is on the surface? Let's go beyond that. Okay. So you got all this amazing power, but really, how can you heal yourself? Okay. So love, money, creativity, it all gives you courage. There's authenticity. There's a willing to release old control patterns. And whatever survives Pluto's test will thrive in the spotlight of Leo. Okay. So that is what we have for the just of the week. I want you guys to understand how important Venus is for us and the collective, individually and publicly. A lot of celebrities, let's see what they go through. Okay. I Lizzo has Leo energy, Obama has Leo energy, Donald Trump. I also have his chart here. So let's see if Trump has something here. Hold up. Also, to you guys, I did a video on the eclipse. So go ahead and check out that, because that is next week, but we're already feeling that already. Let me see. Donald Trump. He has a Mars here. Let me put all the things up here because I took them all off. Okay, he has. Oh wait, I took off the risings. There we go. It's not hitting directly for him, but he does have it in his first house, Venus, and it's sitting here with the power that be, the other countries, whoever we are in alliance with as well. So it's not hitting Trump personally, but it will, because this stuff will come back and it will hit this 5 degrees. Yeah. So no, it's not hitting Trump personally. However, other Leo energies to look out for. I said Obama. I said Lizzo. Who's a Leo? You know the Leos. I'm trying to think. Kylie Kardashian. She's really secretive though. I did say Taylor Swift, and I said Beyonce. But you don't have to know the celebrities in their sign. If they represent that energy, Leo energy, oh, J-Lo, then we'll see how that plays out for them. Now, far as you individually, if you are a Leo, this is going to be big for you. If you are an Aquarius energy, this is going to be big for you. If you have any Taurus placements in the very early signs, this is going to be big for you. And it's going to be big for all of my Scorpios for sure. You guys are going to be feeling this the most because it's squaring you guys. Now, everyone else, remember I told you I did the rising signs where it is focused in your part of your chart. So go ahead and check that out. Now, quickly, I want to talk about September 1st. And we have Saturn. It's going to retrograde in a sign Pisces. Actually, let me show you this here. Where is my chart? Did I bring it back up? There's too many windows open. Let me reduce. Okay. Let me check. Okay, so let me put so I'm if you're not listening, um if you're listening and not watching, I'm just moving the chart and I'm showing that Saturn goes 29 degrees in Pisces. This is really huge and I want you to check out the video that I just put up. First of all, you got homework, okay? You need to listen to the retrograde. You need to listen to the eclipse. I have not posted that on the podcast. It's only on YouTube because I had issues. But now that Mercury is ending that retrograde, I should be able to upload it today. Also, too, but 29 degrees is a very urgency degree. This is very important. This is going to happen Monday. So I'm telling you today. So you already know the vibe in the sky on Monday, okay? Saturn in Pisces in 29 degrees. It represents death. It represents ending. 29 is an anoretic degree. And I always say antarctic. Anoretic degree, it's an urgency to shut things down and it's retrograding, okay? So Pisces represents endings. It represents forgiveness, releasing endings, the unknown, things that you cannot see. A lot of conspiracy theories with government. Saturn represents the government. Saturn also represents old man corporations, CEOs, any type of restrictive controlling issue. And now there could be an ending or a death of that, okay? This is not a transition. This is a decomposing and an ending of somewhat. Okay, Pisces is the end. It's the last zodiac sign. 29 degrees is an end. Okay, now this planet is going to retrograde and it's going to come back, so we're going to feel this again, but the retrogrades are going to be, I find, a little bit more intense. Okay, but there could be some boundaries dissolving. There could be revisiting some old lessons. There could be escapism, and then you have the issues with discipline. So let's see if maybe there's a push and push and pull between you trying not to step into reality, or maybe there's an addiction of some sort or a fantasy. You rather be in fantasy land versus being accountable. Okay. Speaking of accountable, this is also about having being accountable when it comes to your religion and your spirituality. Sometimes those are disconnected, or sometimes, a lot of times, those are together. So if it's a spiritual belief that you truly believe in, there could be a sense of being really serious about this. Now, Pisces also represents creativity and music. So setting some boundaries with music or creativity as well. Karmic cleanup. Pisces likes its links to endings and dissolving and karma and forgiveness and releasing. And Saturn retrograding brings closure to those patterns. So if you're not experiencing a death of a CEO or of a corporation or of a father figure, or someone who's somewhat of a mentor, and it doesn't have to be a physical death, it could be like an ending of that relationship of some sort, or it could be metaphysical, metaphoric. Did I say that right? Then this could be definitely an issue of a releasing and forgiving. And there could be finally having some closure on something that you needed to forgive. Okay. So, predictions, again, emotional reality check, accountability with a lot of communities or departments when it comes to spirituality, or when it comes to addiction of some sort, or secrets that could be happening. A lot of creative delays, boundaries in relationship, karmic lessons come to a return, past choices. Were you being accountable? Okay. Water issues too. Pisces is huge with the water and ocean, and Saturn could be releasing some boundaries there. It was a structure that had boundaries, and now it's not there. So be aware of that. What else do we have? Dreams as teachers, vivid dreams, and there's a lesson with your dreams as well. Pisces is very intuitive. It is not about what you see or tangible results, but Saturn makes it tangible, but it's retrograding. So maybe there is something that is very divine and very mystical, and it makes sense, and it's starting to be a reality of some sort. Financial work slowdown. Saturn retrograde often tightens resources, asking for patience. Saturn moves very slow. Saturn thinks about the long term. It was something else I was going to say about Saturn: lessons, karma, long term energy, father of time. I'm trying to give you all that I can think of. Testing faith as well. Situations may arise, and there's a challenge with the self. And Saturn likes to test because it wants you to understand the lesson. Okay, it is the teacher, it is the mentor, it is the lessons. All that is the test. Okay, yeah, and strength through surrendering as well. Okay, that happens September 2nd. You guys pay attention to the lessons, all that's happening. Also, to September 7th, we have that 29-degree eclipse. Let me see. No, September 21st, we have that 29-degree eclipse. And then on the 7th, we have that 15-degree in Pisces eclipse. Okay, all these are connected. It's not made up. Made up is not the word. There is a link of these patterns of degrees here, and something is definitely coming to an ending, and there is new beginnings happening, and there's this constant back and forth of that. Okay. Yes. So that is what we have. I'll put some cards for you guys for the week. Whoever's here. Let's see what we have. Oh, we already have some cards coming out. Okay, so this week we have the Eight of Swords. Also, we have the Chariot, which represents Cancer. Okay. So the Eight of Swords is someone who is putting themselves in jail. They are making themselves a victim. They are having all these negative thoughts, and they are putting these thoughts in their head, and they're like, I'm trapped. I cannot move. But it's self inflicted. It's not the truth. You see in this card, they're blinded, and it's all made up in their head. They put themselves here. At the same time, there's a Chariot, and there needs to be a movement of, there needs to be a sense of moving forward. You're stuck between two decisions, and you just need to constantly move forward. You need to constantly have the action. So an example I have is like, if you have a fear of doing a certain I won't get into particulars, but let's say you have a fear of I'm trying not to get too detailed because I want it to be very general and I want everyone to understand it. But if you are put in a situation and there's fear involved, like, I don't know if I want to do A, because if I do A, this can happen, this can happen, this can happen, this can happen. This is what you're doing. You're doing that Eight of Swords. You're putting yourself literally in a jail. And all God is saying for this week is to move forward. Move forward. Go off of divine timing. Go off of God. Go off of faith, because faith is going to be tested next week. Okay. So you need to go off of faith. You need to know that God has your back and keep moving forward. Even if there's two decisions happening, you just keep moving forward. You keep sticking to the plan. Okay. Cancers love a plan. Chariot represents cancers. Cancers love stability. So they love the plan. If the plan seems like it's not working or there's multiple plans, just keep going forward. God is going to steer you in the right direction, especially with these eclipses happening. And I did a very detailed video on those. Okay. So that's what we have. Next video is going to be the monthly astrology. And then we'll also do the monthly tarot. I don't know which one would be first. But yes. Also, too, for my private community, we are going to do the best dates for Virgo season. I'm a little bit late, but that will be posted either today or tomorrow. I give you the best dates to make money, to start launch a program, a business, and best dates for love and all that stuff for Virgo season. All right. I will see you guys next time. Thank you for watching. Bye.
Bye bye.